A Casio G-Shock with an analog time display, all of the capabilities you could possibly need, steel on a bracelet, and a genuinely inexpensive price? The Casio G-Shock G-Steel GSTS110D-1A has arrived, and I'm interested to see how this arguably more mature G-Shock performs on a daily basis. To me, the G-Shock has always been a bit of a puzzle. On the one hand, you have a timepiece that epitomizes dependability and durability. Many personnel of the military use it as their primary watch. On the other side, you've got the reputation of a watch that resembled a Tonka truck in terms of sophistication, thanks in part to the fact that so many G-Shocks are made of plastic, which is actually better at being shock resistant than steel. The G-Shock Mount G and Mr. G are more adult-looking watches that, although not suitable for wearing with a suit, can help you appear less sartorially challenged. Casio debuted the Mount G and Mr. G watches earlier this year for individuals who are unfamiliar with their elder siblings. These steel variants, marketed as the high-end G-Shocks, were formerly only available in Japan but are now accessible worldwide. Casio has a long history of producing analog dial watches in addition to steel watches. Simply said, a digital watch made of plastic is more durable than one made of metal. Casio has created watches like the Mount G, Mr. G, and its younger, more economical brother, the G-Steel, in response to the reality that customers spending hundreds of dollars on a watch desire some of the aforementioned luxury qualities. Of course, they are some of the most high-tech watches you can wear on your wrist, and as such, they were not entirely constructed with aesthetics in mind. Also, they came with price tags that were not particularly G-Shock-like. The Mount G will set you back little under $1,000, while the Mr. G will cost you over $3,000. The Casio G-Shock G-Steel GSTS110D-1A watch was created to meet the desire for a more reasonable price point. After removing features like the titanium finish and the GPS hybrid wave scepter technology, the Casio G-Shock G-Steel GSTS110D-1A still offers tough features like shock resistance, 200 m water resistance, solar power, LED light on both the face and an LED backlight, world time setting for 31 time zones, including the option to turn on off daylight savings time, 5 daily alarms, a stopwatch, countdown function, and a calendar that's pre-programmed until 2099 are all included, as well as a hand shift to get the analog hands out of the way if necessary. I don't need most of these capabilities as a Los Angeles resident whose idea of adventure is a stroll down Runyon Canyon, but it's nice to know I have a watch that can handle just about everything. Casio has really got into what many current consumers are looking for in a watch in terms of design. By G-Shock norms, using no bright, almost cartoonish colors and having a plain stainless steel band and case results in a rather discreet-looking watch. The Casio G-Shock G-Steel GSTS110D-1A bezel reads G-Shock at the top and shock-resistant at the bottom, with smaller type adjust, mode, light, and search on the sides, each having its own button to activate the feature. The writing of the Casio G-Shock G-Steel GSTS110D-1A is plain black, not too distracting, but legible enough to read quickly. The slim black urethane inner bezel provides additional protection. The addition of black urethane around the face and as an inner bezel may not be for everyone in terms of looks. It reminded me of the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore, which I tried on in white ceramic, but it's critical in maintaining the watch's shock-absorbing abilities, as steel isn't quite as good. I have to admit that the Casio G-Shock G-Steel GSTS110D-1A's face appeals to me. To begin, the minute indications and the top section of the hour indicators are located on the dial's outermost ring. Because the dial and hour markers slope down at an angle and then flatten out at the lowest level of the dial, I say top section. It gives the dial a lot of depth, and I really like how it makes the whole thing pop without using a lot of bright colors. You can see that the watch's designers put a lot of effort and attention into ensuring that it has the bravado that a G-Shock promises, but with exquisite, almost subtle design cues that you can't help but notice. By combining analog hands with 3 digital indications, this watch achieves something really unique. While this isn't very novel, it stands in contrast to the G-Shock Mr. G, which features higher-end appearing analog hands on the indication dials, despite the fact that digital is more accurate. Does it give the watch a less mechanical appearance? Sure, but that's not why you buy a G-Shock in the first place, especially if you're on a tight budget. The fact that this Casio G-Shock G-Steel GSTS110D-1A costs roughly a third less than the Mr. G helps to alleviate the pain of losing those analog hands. If the analog hands get in the way of reading any of the indicators, press and hold the bottom button on the left side of the casing for 3 seconds to move them out of the way, and then do the same to return them to the current time. Get the Casio G-Shock G-Steel GSTS110D-1A on Amazon. Please check link in the description. Finally, what do you think about this watch? Please share your experience in the comments box.